Hey, it's Solo, speaking of the World of Warcraft. It is November 18th, 2016, it's Friday. Time for the news, and let's go. I guess our top story is that the Mythic Trial of Valor raid had opened up earlier this week, so you know what that means. That means it's time for the Mythic race. And just a few days later, the Mythic race ended. A big shout out goes to the guild known as Twitch Curse Jinx Sennheiser Alien Wereforge. I guess, you know, grats to them. Actually, the grats goes out to Method, the long-running competitive guild. I guess in their due diligence, they wanted to make sure that they're handling all their sponsors, but were so modest that they didn't want to put in their own logo. Anyways, grats to them. As far as I know, they have earned it, but at the same time, the race seems to have been influenced by certain bans that had happened earlier this week. Apparently, an artifact power exploit allowed players to amass almost millions of artifact points. When Blizzard caught wind of this, they dealt out punishments in a kind of interesting way. They were just doing several day bans on certain players. Of course, people that were just kind of discovering this and they're like, ooh, what's this? Oh wow, I got some extra artifact power. Those kinds of folks, they weren't punished, but word was spreading, and apparently people were putting groups together to farm this artifact power in a very short amount of time. Blizzard took this as a case-by-case scenario, and they didn't really punish anyone who just kind of discovered the bug. Some of the major offenders did in fact include people that were part of the world first race. They were trying to get them more artifact power so they can get a couple more points, get a little bit of more strength in their heals and throughput and whatever, and they were temporarily banned, which kind of takes like their team or their guild out of the world first race. So it's hard to say for sure if Method is like the undisputed, yeah, we would have got this regardless of, you know, whether or not there were bans. But I think that for the most part they still earned it. Players are kind of mixed about how Blizzard handled the bans though. Some players are like, okay, well that's cool, that's fair, it's only been a couple day ban, whatever. Other players are like, no, they should have their account banned forever and have all, you know, their entire Battle.net account locked, you know, like an extreme punishment, just like Overwatch. Now in my opinion, a couple million artifact power is kind of a lot. That's, you know, that's a whole lot of work, but at the same time, at least for me, given my artifact knowledge level, which I think is at 15 or so, I think it's going to be 16 by the end of the day today, as of this recording. I think that that's only about a couple days worth of artifact power grinding. So a couple days worth of grinding versus a several day ban. I think the punishment does kind of fit the crime in this case. And just from my experience, because I only focus really on one toon, and while I guess I maintain artifact knowledge on several other characters, but I don't really go out and do any farming. Casually doing like the world quest and maybe the daily dungeon thing and a little bit of raiding, that'll get you a level like just every couple days. What I typically do, and in fact what I'm doing today, I'm not doing any world quests that have to do with artifact power, knowing that in about 8 hours or so my artifact knowledge thing will go up, and then I'm going to go out and farm, get a little spike of points, and that should get me a little bit closer to, I think, my 33rd point. In the end, it's not that bad, but at the same time I do think Blizzard was right in at least temporarily banning these folks because, well, it's not cool. It's an exploit. It is definitely an exploit, and I think it was Ian that had made some weird, crazy analogy using things like a money truck or a bank truck, one of those things. It was kind of silly. But going beyond the silly analogy, I think it can't really be argued that exploiting a bug like that should be punished in some way, shape, or form. So I'm curious, what do you guys think? If you think that the punishment did fit the crime, and you know, just in general, do you think that it is okay for players to be punished for mistakes that Blizzard makes? So the 7.15 patch has been out for a little while, and it feels like there's just a lot more scrutiny going on with this patch than in previous ones. Players are going in pretty much line for line to see just what kind of changes are happening to their class, to their spec, to their artifact weapons, to their legendaries, and stuff like that. And for good reason. There are plenty of players who would feel really butthurt if they found out that their class was no longer going to be as viable as it would be, could be, should be, and they might feel forced to totally change their spec or class. One of the central themes is based on having to get all that artifact power again, which to be honest I find a little funny. And this goes back to the whole thing about different players want different things, so I'm not trying to bash on anyone in particular, but it's just a little confusing that the message of the community is a really mixed bag. So here's what I'm talking about. Players feel that their spec should, for the most part, always be viable. That's a given, and that's not something that anyone can really be excused of. Everyone just wants to feel viable and have a good time, so it's a constant thing for Blizzard to struggle with. On one corner, you have players that just do not like the concept of artifacts, or especially artifact power. That means if you're going to be changing your spec or class even, you're going to have to maybe re-earn all the artifact artifact knowledge, you're gonna have to go out and farm for the artifact power again. That might be a big pain in the butt for some people. And this is regardless of the fact that artifact knowledge and artifact power are a predictable system. You can just schedule it with math and figure out exactly when you're going to hit knowledge level whatever and artifact trait this and that. And some people like that there is a predictable system like that. They have a goal, they know what they're going for. But some people don't like it. They'd rather take the chance and hope that they get a good weapon drop, and that will help redefine their spec. But in another corner, there are people who just do not like random drops. They don't want to feel like they have to keep farming, you know, this in this instance over and over again at the hope of a drop, or hoping that someone else doesn't take their drop from them. And that's just a small sample of the, I guess, futile efforts that Blizzard is putting in to introduce all sorts of different systems that'll please certain sets of players, because the people that aren't pleased about it, they're gonna bitch about it. So what you have is this kind of perpetual negativity that's coming from not all players, but certain subsets of players, but it's always somebody. And outside observers, they might feed off of this kind of negativity, and they might be like, oh wow, yeah, World of Warcraft kind of sucks. People have even asked me about, hey, what do you think of like some of these changes? And my answer to most of that is, well, let's wait until we see everything that's coming out. Like, let's see what's going beyond just the high level overview that I talked about earlier. Seeing as this is like the first build, there's a good chance that most of everything that we're seeing are just like little tooltip updates and things that just haven't really changed. Personally, I'm not too comfortable with talking about data mined information, even though I was really excited to talk about the upcoming WoW token things that might be happening. I encourage most everyone to do the same. If you see data mined information, just kind of let that simmer for a little bit, or if anything, just jump into the PTR yourselves, get a feel for it, see how it is. There might not have been any change for your certain class or spec, at least not yet. Next week is going to be the official 12-year anniversary of the World of Warcraft, but they're starting the festivities now. Inside is a goodie bag with that nice little XP/rep bonus, along with some time walking coin things. You can use those coin things to get yourself a new puppy, or you can use them on previous gifts. And by the way, those time walking coins are going to appear regardless of what kind of tune you get on. So if you want to save a little bit, make sure you either get on an alt or make a level 1 tune, open up that bag, get the coins, go ahead and get the puppy and whatever it is that you want, so you don't spend anything on your more important characters. Finally, Scott Johnson had conducted an interview with good old Chris Metzen, the retired senior VP of, well, awesome things at Blizzard. From a guy we know to kind of present himself to be larger than life, to be super animated and so boisterous and spirited in everything that he does, this interview was really sobering. I guess humanizing and humbling. It really brings to light the kinds of pressures that were facing the guy in terms of trying to please his fans and his family over at Blizzard. For those of you who are interested in him or the gaming industry in general, or if you're in it right now and you want to see what it's like kind of coming from the top, I definitely suggest a listen. I'm going to leave a link below for you guys to enjoy. And by the time you're done listening to it, even if you're not entirely in agreement with all the kinds of different directions and takes that he's made on the games, I think one thing is for sure, that he lived for his fans. And if he does come back for a new project, I'll definitely be looking forward to what he has in store. Hopefully it'll be a Rocket Bear, hashtag Rocket Bear. So that's pretty much it for the news. I know that this one was short, but this marks the 20th news thing that I've done. And, well, 1 year of me making videos. Damn! Doing this for a year, it's been a trip, and 2016 has been a really weird and tumultuous year. But after 1 year, 116 videos, and 3,000 or so subscribers, I'm looking forward to the next year, but I'm gonna need a little bit of help from you guys. There are certain things that I'm trying to push for, like trying to do more guides and do more informative stuff, which is kind of what I tried to do this week with the Dreamleaf stuff and the 715 overview. But I'd love to see this channel grow and thrive. So I'm going to take whatever steps that I can to do it. But if you guys are also interested in watching me grow, let me know what you need. What do you want? Of course, your kind words and your support are super appreciated. And it's nice whenever I see someone say, oh dude, you only have like this many subs. I can't believe it. I guess neither can I. So there is maybe one thing that you guys can do to help a little bit. If you see my stuff and you find something that's engaging, if you think that can be used in a conversation that you're having with a friend, go ahead and share it, link it. If there's a guy that you think will be useful, share it with 3 or 50 people, but don't feel obligated to do it. I felt like I had to say it just to say it, but even I get uncomfortable when someone tells me something like that, so don't feel the pressure at all. I kind of know where you're coming from. But anyway, as usual, shoot me your feedback, your love, your tips, your suggestions, your hate, all all that stuff, shoot that down on the comment below. Americans such as myself are going to celebrate the slaughtering of turkeys in a week, so there's probably not going to be a Friday news next week. But I'm going to try to do a video on both Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I'm going to try to throw together a nice little dedication to, 12 years of World of Warcraft, because that is in fact the anniversary day. Yay! Alright, so that's definitely it for me. I'm out for the week. You guys have a very, very good one. Stay safe. I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys.